Get off to a blazing start. Lead the American League West before the players strike under Billy Martin in his second year, declared first-half champions. The Royals stagger in the early season, but after the strike, go on to win the second half, fire Jim Fry in August, led into the playoffs by Dick Hauser. It has, without doubt, been baseball's most bizarre season. The players' strike, of course, necessitating the split season. And there is the way they finished in the American League West first half. Oakland up on top after a blazing start. They won their first 11 games and 17 of their first 18. And look where Kansas City finished in the first half, 12 games back. Then, following the strike, with new life, Kansas City 7 games over 500. And Oakland winding up in second place, already, of course, having clinched a playoff berth. If you were to have combined the standings this season, that's the way they would have finished. Oakland would have won it. They would have indeed been in the playoffs. Texas would have finished second. And Kansas City would have been 11 games back and on their way home for a winter vacation today. And this first game of the American League Western Division Series is being brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to see all the good things for 1982 at your local Chevy dealer. Chevy makes good things happen. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Temperature in the 60s at Royal Stadium in Kansas City. I welcome you here. Al Michaels reporting. I'll have the play-by-play during the course of this series for you. And, of course, lest it be said, it has been a terribly dispiriting day because of the tragedy in Cairo earlier. And if events dictate or warrant throughout the course of the next couple of hours, we will be returning to ABC News for any further information for you. But you have tuned in to watch baseball, and that is what we will be bringing you from Kansas City as Oakland takes on Kansas City best of 5, the winner to advance to meet the winner of the Milwaukee-New York series that begins tomorrow night here on ABC. The A's, of course, a miraculous situation. Just 2 years ago, they lost 108 games. They were a moribund franchise, terrible record on the field, and off the field, nobody cared. It looked like the franchise would be moved. Then last year, Charlie Finley sold the team, new ownership. Billy Martin had taken over at the outset of the 1980 season, and Martin, the miracle man, has done it again. Here are the A's in the playoffs. As far as Kansas City is concerned, as we detailed just moments ago, the Royals a staggering start under Jim Fry in his second season. Then the strike, then the new beginning. Fry fired, Hauser took over, and here's Kansas City now for the second year in a row with a chance to go back to the World Series. We'll return to Royal Stadium in KC right after this.
Rainmaker to ground.
Okay, Rainmaker. One more, how to do it?
Raj, picking us up a radio. Tell that fire not to go anywhere.
Bullseye, you got it.
Does that mean it's Miller time?
Roger, over and out.
Well, it's time to relax. One beer stands clear. If you got the time, Miller's got the beer.
Now, 82 Chevy Cavalier. From A to Z, the complete car.
This two-door coupe's our lowest price Cavalier, just $69.66.
But what if I want an electric rear window debugger?
It's still $69.66.
What about reclining front seats?
It's still $69.66.
AM radio? Digital clock? Remote trunk release?
$69.66.
43 standard features and $69.66.
Now save hundreds of dollars with 13.8% financing on both Chevy Cavalier and 81 Citation.
This is radiator rust. It's building up after just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze. Now look at a radiator protected with new improved Prestone 2 after the same miles. Quite a difference. Introducing the new silicone silicate formula Prestone to lock out rust and corrosion in all metals. Now it's even stronger for better aluminum protection. New improved Prestone 2. The best seller just got better. No wonder we're #1.
We're delighted again to be joined for postseason commentary by the man who won 3 Cy Young Awards. I say one. He has a chance, of course, since he's still active, to win a 4th. And 8 times he's been a 20-game winner. Jim Palmer, the right-hander of the Baltimore Orioles, will be analyzing this series. And as you take a look at these two teams, do you favor one over the other in this set?
Well, I think I might favor Kansas City only because they're such an experienced ball club. They've been in the playoffs 5 out of the last 6 years, and they're probably playing the best ball of the year right now. Oakland, on the other half, they started out winning 17 of their first 18 games, and since then they've only played 2 games over 500. If you can stop Ricky Henderson, I think you can beat Oakland. And I think the only thing that's really not working in the Royals' behalf right now is the fact that Larry Gurr had to pitch Sunday, and they will not be able to use their 2 best pitchers 4 times in this series.
Some outstanding individuals, some fellows who are right up among the league leaders on both teams individually. Let's have a look at the Royals and the A's. The man who puts the Oakland attack in motion is the leadoff hitter. Left fielder Ricky Henderson batted .319 and will get a lot of votes for American League MVP this year.
The American League best base runner. If the Royals expect to win, they're going to have to keep him off the base.
Ricky led the American League in steals this season with 56. As far as power is concerned, the cleanup man Tony Armas tied for the league lead in home runs with 22. Second at Baltimore's Eddie Murray in RBIs with 76.
The A's most dangerous hitter, the guy that I would pitch around.
And strong defensively, great arm in right field, Tony Armas. In center, young Dwayne Murphy, 15 home runs, and led the league in game-winning runs batted in with 15.
The best center fielder in the American League has a great ability to go back on the ball.
Dwayne Murphy, the Oakland outfield. Another strength for the A's, their starting pitching, Steve McCatty, 114. Rick Langford, 112. And today's starting pitcher, 12-game winner Mike Norris, struggled in the second half, however, and recently incurred the wrath of manager Billy Martin.
Can you relate the circumstances the last couple of weeks involving Mike Norris, the fact you had named him to start the playoffs, he did have his problems, you came out in the paper, at least publicly, and said, well, maybe he wouldn't start if he really didn't get his act together. Then all of a sudden things worked out. What happened over the past couple of weeks with Mike?
Well, you have to know Mike. I did those things to get him mad. You know, the best way to get to a person, if you can't get them another way, is get through their pride and their ego. So I put those things in the paper so he can read them. And I found out he can read well. And so the next day he pitched well. And just a little common sense is all it is, Al.
Among those Mike Norris will face today, Royals third baseman George Brett. Last year's American League batting champion hit .390. This year, .314.
The consummate all-around player. For the Royals to win, he's going to have a good series.
Willie Wilson, the Kansas City left fielder and leadoff hitter, had a miserable first half, even had problems like this in New York in the second half. But basically, a fine climax to the season for Willie Wilson, helping to turn things around in the second half for the Royals with plays like this.
Also, the man that makes their offense go. If he gets on, the rest of the hitters are much better.
For power, they look to first baseman Willie Aikens, led the club in home runs, only man in double figures with 17.
Well, this is what he does best. He makes you throw strikes, and when you do, this is what happens.
The Royals can put some runs on the board, and when you talk about pitching, if they have the lead, it's Dan Quisenberry coming out of the bullpen. He had 18 saves. Larry Gurra, a fine second half. And on the mound today, in game number 1, right-hander Dennis Leonard.
Well, their best pitchers won more games in the American League than any pitcher since 1975. The guy I'd like to have out there in a big game.
And Leonard has concluded his warm-ups. He's walking in from the bullpen. Mike Norris on the left, the starting pitcher for the A's. The American League West Series getting underway in a moment.
If one plug goes wrong in an 8-cylinder car, you've still got 7 left to pull you along. But if one goes wrong in a 4-cylinder car, you've got problems. Autolite spark plugs are made for small engines. They've got a fused glass seal in here to give you full power, and a wide heat range that helps stop misfiring and fouling at low speeds. If you have a small car, why not get a plug made for small engines? Autolite.
People say I have $1 million smile. Well, I should. Sometimes I think I invested that much in it. That's why I chew Freedent. Freedent is the one gum that won't stick to my dental work, and I love that fresh minty taste. Freedent gives me all the chewing pleasure I could ask for in a gum. And where my dental work's concerned, there's nothing tacky about it. With Freedent, the pleasure sticks, but gum won't.
Right Guard knows a man needs all the protection he can get. That's why Right Guard Solid has an action-triggered formula. Triggered to release protection when your body needs it most. So the more you sweat, the more protection you get. Right Guard action-triggered formula helps keep you dry and odor-free all day. Right Guard antiperspirant Solid. The more you sweat, the more protection you get.
I think if the one word to describe my situation I got into was really stupid. The use of drugs is immature. I think that you lose respect for people. You lose mental and physical abilities with the use of drugs. And totally, I think you can lose your liberty. You can go to jail, and no one wants to be put in jail. I've stopped, and I hope that anyone that's watching this will take heart and stop.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
The Royals have taken the field, and defensively, as we cut around the Kansas City infield, Willie Aikens will be at first base. At second base, a man who had another fine year with the glove. You know what he can do, Frank White. At shortstop, U.L. Washington. Another good season, at least defensively, though he did struggle enormously at the plate. George Brett around at third for Kansas City. In the outfield, Willie Wilson, a resurgent second half, is in left. In center field, Amos Otis. When the season began, they had Otis in left and Wilson in center. That lasted only a couple of weeks, however, and Clint Hurdle around in right. Back of the plate for the defending American League champions, John Watson does the catching, and on the mound for Kansas City, right-hander Dennis Leonard. Finished strongly, 113 overall this season, led the league in innings pitched, the only man over the 200 figure in the truncated season. The batting order for the A's today, Ricky Henderson leading off in left and Dwayne Murphy in center. A bit of a surprise in that the rookie Keith Drumright is in there as a DH. Armas bats clean up, then Gross, Spencer, Mike Heath doing the catching. Dave McKay at second, and the shortstop, Fred Stanley. So an extra tier of playoffs for the first time ever in baseball, and we get underway here. Game 1 in Kansas City, best of 5. The first 2 to be played here. Game 3, and then 4 and 5 if necessary out west. And here we go as Ricky Henderson takes a strike. 0-1. Henderson led the league this season in runs, hits, and stolen bases. Breaking pitch missing inside.
And I think the way Leonard's going to pitch to Henderson is he said he's had a lot of success with breaking balls. And Henderson's up there to try to make Leonard throw as many pitches as he can.
Henderson hitting a fly ball to center field. Otis flipping the shades down. This is a spacious park until Amos makes the catch on a ball hit around 390 feet. The umpires today, and they're working with 6. George Maloney back of the plate. Joe Brinkman at first. Steve Palermo at second. Don Denkinger will be at third. Jim Evans working the line in left. And Jim McKean in right. You'll recall there was some controversy as of a couple of weeks ago as to whether they would go with 4 or 6 umpires in the divisional series, and the umps won that battle. Dwayne Murphy, the batter, fouling it away. 0-1. Dennis Leonard, remarkably consistent, Jim, in that he is the type of pitcher a manager knows he can count on to go out there and not miss a turn, and Dennis has been relatively injury-free and has been able to make it to the mound almost every start over the past 6 years.
He had some problems in '79, but I think he's won more games than any right-handed in baseball since 1975, so he goes out there when you need him, and he's the type of guy you want out there in a big game.
Murphy lining it into left center field for a base hit. Otis over to cut it off. Murphy taking the turn and holding with a single. So the first hit of the game belongs to the A's, and that brings up Keith Drumright. That graphic a moment ago illustrated something significant. Leonard facing the A's twice this season and shutting them out on both occasions. The last shutout, in fact, came here on Friday night.
I think really, Al, that makes it a little bit more difficult to come back in that short time span and pitch as well. I know that a lot of times you'll have back-to-back series during the year, and if you happen to beat a club, it seems they get a little bit more up for the next game. So Leonard does have his work cut out for him.
Keith Drumright, the designated hitter, as Leonard drives Murphy back. Drumright is a rookie. The A's, for the most part, have been going with Cliff Johnson as the DH against both lefties and righties. In the last week, with Oakland facing so many righties, Drumright was the starting DH with Johnson on the bench. And I know a lot of the A's were surprised today, even though Keith did play over the last week of the regular season, that he would be in today instead of the veteran Johnson.
Well, he beat us a couple games early in the season before the strike, but Jim Spencer, who's the first baseman for the A's, says he may be the best two-strike hitter that he's ever seen, but he has 5 game-winning RBIs this year in limited action. But the thing you miss with Cliff Johnson out of the lineup is the fact that he has 17 home runs. And today, maybe Billy looked at the wind. The wind's blowing strongly to right field, and I doubt if he has much of a chance for a right-hander to hit a ball out of here today.
Leonard with Murphy on his mind. Henderson, of course, is their top base-stealing threat. Murphy, though, has good speed. Wayne this season, with 10 steals, was second on the club to Ricky. 1 out, first inning, no score. Murphy at first base. Leonard, a long stretch, and then throwing over to first base again. The A's, of course, have a reputation for running what they call Billy ball in Oakland. 1-0 pitch is fouled away by hook or crook. Martin tries to figure out a way to score a run.
Well, he has that type of ball club. A little bit misleading, though, because they did lead the American League in home runs this year. And I think everybody feels that they just go out there and steal bases and hit and run and steal. They do all of those things, but when a guy like Murphy, who has good speed, only runs 14 times a year, is successful 10 of those times, you really don't have a lot of guys that are stealing bases.
The Royals, in fact, stole more bases than the A's did this season, 100 to Oakland's 98. There he is. He has done it again. Billy Martin. And this might be the most remarkable of the resurgences for Martin's team. Ground ball to the right side. Could be 2. White to Washington for 1. And back to Aiken. Double play. Oakland gone in the first inning. No runs to hit and nobody left. After a half, the A's nothing and the Royals coming up.
There's a new day dawning, America.
Today, we're all working to brighten America's energy future. And Sun, an energy company for nearly a century, is helping by developing new sources of oil, natural gas, synthetic fuels, and coal right here at home.
America, America, Sun is helping to make a new day.
This beautiful day has been brought to you by Sun, an energy company.
I am surrounded by people that are still mixed up about Campbell's Chunky. Take this chunky steak and potatoes. On the one hand, some people think it's a soup you eat with a spoon. On the other hand, it has all these chunks of steak and potatoes some think you eat with a fork. So, is it a soup or is it a meal? It's obvious. Chunky is the soup that eats like a meal.
Chunky steak and potato. It's the soup that eats like a meal.
The A's defensively, Jim Spencer, who came over from the Yankees, and the deal that sent Dave Revering to New York, is at first base. At second base, Dave McKay. He has won that job, had a very good month of September. Fred Stanley is the shortstop. He and Rob Piccolo alternate on a basically daily basis. It's Stanley getting the start today, and at third base, where they platoon, it is Wayne Gross getting the start today. We should see Mickey Klutz against left-handed pitching. In the outfield, which many consider to be the best in baseball overall, Ricky Henderson is in left field. In center field, a man who covers as much ground as any center fielder in the bigs, Dwayne Murphy. And around and right, you think about his offensive stats, but he has a tremendous arm, Tony Armas. They have made this season the spectacular play seem very routine. Mike Heath, back of the plate, unheralded, but a man who has been quite instrumental in the A's success. And Mike Norris on the mound. Willie Wilson to lead off, then Frank White, George Brett, Aikens the cleanup hitter, Otis bats fifth, McRae, Pirtle batting seventh, Watson eighth, UL Washington hitting ninth. Willie Wilson to lead things off. Those his combined figures. Willie hit 332 in the second half. Takes outside. And Wilson in his last 33 games hit 361. Tries to bunt his way on and fouls it back into the seats. One and one on Wilson. Norris with great success against Willie in their prior confrontations. Gross in very shallow at third. 2-1 the count. You can see where Wayne is playing. And all of the infielders shortened up. Wilson popping it up. Stanley shielding his eyes from a tough stunt. And makes the catch and staggered under it. High sky. Not a cloud in the sky today, and very breezy, wind blowing left to right as you look around Royal Stadium. 3:30, and then it moves off to the alleys where it's 385 and 410 to straightaway center field. Symmetrical park, turf, and a quick surface here in Kansas City.
Well, it's a great park to pitch in. If you can throw fly balls here and keep them out towards the power alleys, they have the kind of outfield that can run under them.
Frank White, with one out, bases empty, tries to check his swing and can't, and the count is 0-1. As you can see, White finished the regular season with a flourish. A regular season, of course, that did not end for Kansas City until yesterday. They had to play one game in Cleveland to help determine the second half champion. Norris knocking it down, losing his glove, and Michael won the Gold Glove last year, shows you why. Matter of fact, it was Norris who broke Jim Palmer's streak. Palmer had won the award 4 years running, and Norris took the honors away in 1980. We'll see it again.
Well, I think here you'll see a low, looks like a low screwball, right back at him. He plays it off his knee, I think, but he has great reflexes and recovers to throw him out. I think what you try to do on the ball back to, if it's hit real hard, you try to get out of the way, but otherwise you try to get something in front of it, and I think he stopped that ball with his leg.
2 down, bases empty. George Brett, hot over the better part of the last week. Finished the season at 314, and of course everything is relative, so people say, what's wrong with George?
Well, I talked to George. He said he hasn't been very consistent this year, and I guess after you hit 390, it's tough to live up to those kind of statistics, but he said he just been swinging a lot of first balls and not really concentrating as well as he could.
Inside, and the count 2-0. The distractions, of course, last season, plus he had a very busy offseason.
I think the fact that the ball club as a whole did not play well until really the middle of the second half.
2-0 pitch to Brett. Slow bouncer to the right side. McKay charging and throwing on the run and getting it. Norris setting KC down 1-2-3. We go to the second inning at Royal Stadium. A's nothing, Royals nothing in game 1.
We'll open your eyes.
The honeymoon suite, complete with a new RCA color trim.
We won't have much time.
Hey, that's some color picture. Can't get any better than this color track.
RCA's advanced detail processor delivers a color picture so lifelike it seems almost three-dimensional.
That's some color picture.
Let's switch to the news.
But why?
To see if there's anything about our divorce. We'll open your eyes, RCA.
In the old days, tires were subjected to all sorts of sophisticated tests. Today at General Motors, as part of the world's largest industrial redesign program, GM engineers have developed unsurpassed tire testing technology, resulting in major improvements in fuel economy, traction, and durability. General Motors, the future of transportation is here.
You don't need a haircut, Jim. You need Brill Cream.
Brill Cream?
Sure. Your hair is short enough, but it's a mess.
It sure is.
Brill Cream's so concentrated, just a little dab keeps hair healthy looking and in control all day. Look, I'll put a little dab of Brill Cream here. Nothing here.
See? Even with the hair blower, the Brill Cream side doesn't fly around. Without Brill Cream, hair flies around.
Terrific.
You're right. With Brill Cream, a little dab will do you.
Coming up beginning tomorrow, the American League Eastern Division Series from County Stadium in Milwaukee, the Yankees and the Brewers. It'll be Ron Guidry against Moose Haas. That's tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern. Game 2, of course, here will take place tomorrow afternoon. And if you have been with us throughout the course of a tragic day, of course, you know that ABC News has been following the situation with the assassination of Anwar Sadat in Egypt. Full coverage, of course, tonight on ABC World News Tonight and on Nightline, following your late local news this evening.
Right field.
Second inning at Royal Stadium in Kansas City. Temperature in the 60s today. Breeze blowing from left to right. Crosswind. No score, and Tony Armas to lead off in the second. Look to the strike. 0-1. Well, look at the breeze. Right now it's died down just a bit. We've had some gusts in which the winds have made the flag stand almost stiff. 0-2 the count.
Armas is the type of guy that you just saw on the monitor. You could see a slider low and away. He doesn't hit that pitch, but if you make a mistake with the same pitch, get it up in the strike zone, ball has a great chance of going out of the ballpark. And he hurt Baltimore all year. Hit 5 home runs in his last 5 games.
0-2 pitch, got him swinging. So Armas, who led the league in strikeouts this season, going down 115 times, that's more than once a game, becomes Leonard's first victim here in the second inning.
Wayne Gross.
1 out, and Wayne Gross, the batter. Gross hit just .206 this year. Decent power. 10 home runs, 31 runs batted in. The A's have an interesting mix when you look at their lineup. Henderson, Murphy, Armas, their key guys, batting 1, 2, 4. A rookie today in the 3 spot as the DH, and then it really tails off as you get down to spots 5 through 9. But Gross hits a high fly ball to right field. Hit it too high for the wind to make any difference here in terms of distance, and Hurdle has a lot of room. Wind is blowing in that direction today.
Batting 6.
And there are 2 down.
Number 12. Jim Spencer, first base.
Jim Spencer. Dennis Leonard starting game 1. There's an off day in this series, so we could see Leonard again if we go to game 4. And if necessary, 5. 1-0 the count.
Right there you saw the type of pitch that Jim Spencer has great difficulty handling, and that's the high fastball. Both he and Gross, they have no idea why they had off seasons at the plate. Jim thought maybe the fact that he was really, I think earlier in the year he was traded to Pittsburgh for Jason Thompson, ended up going to Oakland. He said he had a great deal of difficulty concentrating this season.
1-1 pitch is hit high in the air to right center field. White is going out. Frank is underneath it and makes the catch for the top of the time. Leonard has an easy inning. He's gone in order through an inning and a half. No score.
An Army post is a lot like a modern city. It has computer programmers, X-ray technicians, laser experts, and hundreds of other specialists. The difference is that cities just hire these people. The Army trains them. In fact, if you qualify, we'll guarantee the skilled training of your choice in writing.
Sometimes, if you heard what people think, checking out the new guy.
Cute, but he's scratching his head. Could be dandruff.
Likes the hair.
No flakes, but that itch probably needs Head & Shoulders.
She's gonna say hi.
That itch could be dandruff, but Head & Shoulders handles that itch, treats hair gently, so all people notice his healthy-looking hair.
Great hair. Hi.
Oh, hi. Head & Shoulders, because that little itch could be telling you something. Available in regular and conditioning formula.
As dawn's early light covers the sleeping Tempkins, a pasty film covers their mouths.
Morning.
They wake with the worst breath of the day.
Morning.
Scope, anyone? We'll use ours. Mom, that leaves your breath medicine-y. Scope's minty.
Ours kills germs.
Scope kills germs.
No kidding.
Try.
Minty fresh.
And kills
germs. Morning.
Fight bad breath with Scope, now in lightweight shatterproof plastic.
Royal Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. Beautiful facility. Sold out today. Capacity here around 40,000 for Game 1 of the American League Western Division Series. The game moving along rapidly thus far, but don't get any wrong ideas because the A's play marathons. Oakland this season averaged 2 hours and 55 minutes per contest, and if anything, postseason games have a tendency to run longer than regular season games.
The reason for that is the umpires are always checking the balls to see if there's any kind of foreign substance on it.
They were doing that, plus the A's unquestionably lead the league in meetings. Bottom of the second inning, Willie Aikens to lead things off, and Emis Otis and Hal McRae. Mike Norris working for the A's. Get the Royals down in order in the first inning. In for a strike.
And there's Mike Norris' screwball. Mike had such a great year last year, 22-9, statistically the best year of any American League pitcher, that people now, there's another screwball, they think he's going too much to the screwball, not challenging the hitters with his fastball. And I talked to Mike Keith before the game, and he said the last game which Mike pitched, which was 3-0 shutout, he went back to the fastball, and I think everybody's happy.
That was against Toronto last week in Oakland. Missing outside here. 1-2 the count. Dick Hauser. It's so odd to sit in this booth, and we were here almost a year ago today and saw Hauser's profile, of course, in a Yankee uniform, guiding the Yanks to the top, and then down they went in 3 to Kansas City in the league playoffs. 2-2.
Dick Hauser had a home run off me in 1965. Then he retired, became a coach.
He didn't hit many in his career.
No, that's my point.
2-2 pitch coming up to Willie Aikens. Little squibber hit up the first baseline, foul. High sky today. You can see Norris on the high bouncer put his glove up, and there's Mike again checking out the conditions. Not a cloud in the sky. Mike Norris broke in with a bang. Mike pitched a shutout in his big league debut in 1975. And shortly thereafter underwent elbow surgery, and at one point it was feared that Mike would never pitch again. 2-2 pitch is fouled away.
Well, he has a great arm, and a lot of people, like I said, they just think he throws too many breaking balls. But Art Fowler, the pitching coach for the A's, felt that maybe he did not do as much throwing as he said he did during the strike situation. And when he came back, he just struggled, and they feel that he's finally back in shape.
2-2 pitch to Willie Aikens. Line drive to left center field. That one will be in the gap, but cut off by Henderson, who gets it back in. First hit for the Royals, a solid single by Willie Aikens, who, of course, had a tremendous World Series last year. So he has, along with Emis Otis, become the Royals version of Mr. October.
Well, here you're going to see a high fastball, which is the pitch to get Willie out with, but maybe not 2-2. You just can't throw it as hard because you don't want to walk him, and he can go to right field as well as he can to left.
Aikens at first base, nobody out, no score. Bottom of the second inning, and Emis Otis at 269. 9 homers, 57 runs batted in. Gross is shallow at third as Otis takes up and in, ball 1. 1-0. Look at Gross, who's moving back now a couple of steps, and the alignment of the A's infield.
Well, Amos does have the ability to hit behind the runner, and Aikens, of course, is no speedster, but he will take advantage of that hole between first and second.
One 1-0 pitch is fouled at the plate, and the count 1-1. Mike Keith back at the plate for the A's, unheralded in the sense a lot of the publicity this year and acclaim. You've heard about the outfield, many consider it to be the best in baseball, and the starting pitchers get a lot of publicity.
Well, he throws extremely well. other than maybe Rick Dempsey and Jim Sundberg with Texas, I can't think of another catcher in the American League that throws better.
Norris deals 1-1 and missing inside with a screwball. 2-1 the count.
And that's the pitch that Mike Heath said that Mike Norris has been getting hurt with. That screwball has not been going in. It's been hanging on the inside part of the plate, and the right-handers give him a lot of trouble. That same pitch to a left-handed hitter is not a bad pitch, but to the right-handed power hitters, or a guy that can hit the ball pretty hard, I guess he's been making a lot of mistakes.
2 balls, 1 strike to count. Fouled away. All right, you bring up that point, Jim. Then why would he even think about signaling for the screwball in that particular situation?
Well, it might be the fact that Mike Norris has a lot of confidence in that pitch, and usually when you have a guy with a reputation and the ability of Mike Norris, he ends up throwing what he wants to throw. And maybe he feels that that's the pitch that can get Amos Otis out. It's not a bad pitch for a double play, and that's what you'd like to have right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Otis. Akins at first base and nobody out. Fouled away into the seats back of first. If you saw our pregame coverage today, Billy Martin talking about Norris. Mike pitched very well, of course, in the first half, really struggled in the second, as you look at the home and road breakdown. And Billy got all over him about 3 weeks ago. Threatened to remove him from the opening game assignment in the playoffs. But Mike finishing with a flourish, the shutout against Toronto, and maintaining his spot. The 2-2 pitch, bouncing ball, left side, throws, going to McKay for 1, and Dave turns it over, and Spencer stays on the bag with a great stretch. So Oakland pulling off a double play. Each team has turned 1 in the first 2 innings.
And here you'll see a low screwball. The ball goes down. Amos hits the top half over to Gross. Not too good a throw, but Jim Spencer, who's one of the finest fielders, won innumerable gold gloves at that position, makes a nice play.
2 down. Base is empty, and the designated hitter, Hal McRae. 272, his mark for the regular season. 1-0. Hal wasn't particularly pleased with the year he had. He'll be pleased with that one, though, as Ricky Henderson will have to go into the corner. Maybe not. He won't. The wind holding it up. Looks like he got good wood on it, but it stays in by plenty. McRae is gone after 2. Nothing.
Chevrolet announces the biggest news ever in diesel-power light-duty Chevy trucks. The new 6.2-liter diesel, available in all full-size Chevy pickups, Suburbans, and four-wheel drive Blazers. It's a V8 built for trucks only.
Everybody knows diesels get good mileage. They're more efficient than gas engines of comparable size.
The new 6.2-liter diesel. With so much going for it, it's bound to be popular. Don't wait. Order yours today. Chevy is the power in trucks.
You're cutting a ship out of a mountain of steel, and you don't stop until you hear that sound.
Hey, man, it's Miller time. Let's go.
Miller time. Time to head for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear.
Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, Miller's got the beer. Today's the night, ABC is the place.
Tonight, a dazzling night of new season premieres, as Happy Days takes a special one-hour look at the events of this summer. It's the season premiere. Then Jack meets his new roommate. The special one-hour premiere of Three's Company. And Heart to Heart celebrates its premiere with a prize rose that carries a killer's curse tonight.
Saturday on NCAA college football, a national showdown. The undefeated third-ranked Longhorns of Texas battle the Oklahoma Sooners looking for an ambush. Don't miss the greatest shootout in the Southwest. Wrestle up top college action Saturday on ABC.
Every year a classic, the Sooners and the Longhorns. Can you figure out what that is? Well, now you can, as we pulled back. Our director, Ken Faust, gets the whole scoreboard in view. In center field here at Kansas City as we go to the third inning. Baseball's postseason getting underway. Game 1, the A's against the Royals. Game 2 here tomorrow afternoon. Thursday, a day off in this series. And then play resumes in Oakland Friday for Game 3. No score, third inning. Mike Heath, the batter. And Dennis Leonard missing low for a ball, 1-0. Heath, far more success, as you can see, against left-handed pitching this season.
I think that could be attributed to the fact that he, before this year, played mostly against left-handers. I know last time I faced him in Oakland, he hit 3 balls hard, didn't get any hits. Maybe that's why he's hitting 236, but Dennis Leonard's not happy about either of the last 2 calls, but he feels that he tried to go up there and pull the ball, and if you try to do that and aren't a particularly strong hitter, you're going to make a lot of outs. Maybe that's why he's hitting 199 against right-handers.
2-0 pitch, bouncing ball to the left side. UL Washington throws them out. 1 away in the third inning. Dave McKay coming up.
Number 39, Dave McKay.
Dave McKay, switch hitter, a natural right-handed batter who taught himself to hit left-handed. Here's a man who had been moved around. Billy Martin does a lot of juggling in his infield. His outfield is intact, but juggles his infield, and even in the catching spot, with Jeff Newman seeing a lot of action, he juggles back there. But McKay has helped to make the infield a bit more solid with his performance in the month of September. He has become, at least for now, the everyday Oakland second baseman. Fouling it away.
Well, hit a big home run for him off Larry Gurr the other day to force that extra game yesterday in Cleveland. At least the one that Kansas City had to play.
You can see the month that McKay had, batting .394 in his last 19 games. He has surprising power. He only had 4 home runs this season, but every one of the 4 was a bomb, just a cannon shot.
Well, he's basically a fastball hitter, and you have to throw him breaking balls to get him out. And there was a low slider.
And Aiken will do it himself to take care of Dave McKay. 2 down in the third inning. And up comes Fred Stanley.
Shortstop.
What Martin has done at shortstop all season long is play Fred Stanley one day and Rob Piccolo the next. That has been the pattern.
You look at Fred Stanley's stats, and they don't really look very good, but if you're a smart manager like Martin is, you realize that Fred Stanley's never going to hurt you in the field.
Stanley flying out to hurdle. Another quick inning for Dennis Leonard through 2.5. It's Oakland nothing and Kansas City nothing.
Canon presents the new AE1 program. Watch Tracy Austin put Canon's new camera to the test. It's more camera, more versatile. For the pro photographer.
Even more advanced.
And for tennis pro Tracy Austin.
It's even simpler to use. Here, catch. The new program mode makes it so easy. I'm always ready to shoot like a pro.
The new AE1 program, so advanced, it's simple. And more of both. Canon, the official photographic consultant to Major League Baseball.
When you put on a Century 21 gold jacket, you change your life.
I've always earned a good living, but with Century 21, I'm earning real rewards.
We get professional training, and management backs us all the way.
Last year, I was a card and a time clock. Now I'm with number 1, and that makes me feel like number 1.
For more about a career with Century 21, stop by any local Century 21 office and let's talk. It could change your life.
We're America's number 1 top seller, Century 21.
Ladies and gentlemen, Smokin' Joe Frazier. And in this corner, St. Regis with a paper bag made with their shipping sack paper. Can he punch his way out of it? Watch.
This is no ordinary paper. This is an example of the kind of performance you can expect from St. Regis's new Stress Craft paper. It's stronger than any other shipping sack paper in the U.S. Another example of St. Regis's technology in paper packaging and construction products.
An interesting breakdown of the fortunes of the Royals right there. As you can see, 11 under 500 with Jim Fry, 8 over with Dick Hauser. I spoke with Hauser before the game. People are crediting you with turning things around here in Kansas City, replacing Jim Fry in late August, saying that the club is more aggressive. Do you feel that that is indeed true? And what specifically have you instituted in your reign here?
Well, you win with good players. This is a good ball club. No, I don't think that's true. I'd like to be able to take the credit for it, but managers don't win games. The ball players win the ball games. I think you have to put your team in a position to win. I just made up my mind when I decided to take this ball club that one thing I had observed over the years that they did and did very well. They were very aggressive on the bases. They like to run. They like that style of play, but you have to get on base to do that, and we've done that so far.
Dick Hauser, the manager of the Royals, as Clint Hurdle starts the bottom of the third inning by taking a pitch up high, and the count 1-0. Hauser, of course, had sat out the season until taking the job here on the 31st of August. 2-0 now on Hurdle. Dick, after spending 1 year as the Yankee manager, let go there, went back to his home in Tallahassee, Florida. He had some opportunities to perhaps manage at the beginning of the 1981 season. Some clubs were interested in Dick, but decided he wanted to think about it. Remained at home and decided it was the right place and the right time to come back.
Well, this sure is a great environment for baseball. Beautiful park. Fans are enthusiastic and fair. I mean, they cheer the other team as well as the home team. They just appreciate good baseball. And if you wanted to manage anywhere, they have a sound organization. I couldn't think of a better place to come and manage.
The Royals have made it to the playoffs now 5 times in the last 6 seasons, missing only 1979. 3-1 the count. You could see the shoulder shrug by Maloney, the plate umpire, as if he thought briefly about calling it a strike, and Norris, after looking in at George, accepts the call, and the count 3-1. Hurdle gets aboard, and Hurdle fires his bat away as he heads down to first base.
But the only thing that's going to do is incite the fans, because this is the count 3-1. Mike Norris is trying to throw a strike. The ball just happens to go inside.
A glance at Norris.
And 0-2, 1-2, you might want to come inside, but not certainly to walk a guy.
The Hurdle is on, and John Watson is the batter. Up there to bunt, and lays one down the first baseline. Spencer lets it roll, and it goes foul. Alertly judging the path of the bunt down the first baseline, and it's a strike, 0-1.
I think that's a good play, Al, because if you're sitting in the dugout and you're the manager and you're looking at your pitcher, Dennis Leonard, you can tell by now he's got command of all his pitches. And this is going to be a low-scoring game, I would imagine, and I think that he probably wants to get out on top.
Watson trying to move Hurdle along. UL Washington is on deck. Around the bunt again, they pitch out, but nothing is happening. And the count 1-1. John Watson taking over as the everyday catcher. Darrell Porter, of course, leaving. Signed by the Cardinals, free agent.